Doesn't even make any sense. How could they even be in there? But I mean, it doesn't even make sense. Obviously, it can't be. Welcome back to Alcohol and Anime Night, the show that gets you drunker, the show that gets you fatter, and the show that might just make you a cat person. Tonight we ask the question that's on everyone's mind: what if you mixed my life as Inukai-san's dog, that time I got reincarnated as a slime, with a little hint of interspecies reviewers? You would get a tasty little dish called Beheneko. The elf girl's cat is secretly an S-ranked monster. Or S-ranku monster no Behimonso deku neko to machigato ete elfu misue no hishi petto no shite kuramashimasu. So I had recently recommended a show called Uba Blatt at our end of year video, which you can probably see up there somewhere. And I watched a few episodes of it, and frankly, I apologize, it's very boring. It's not that interesting. It's not bad, it's just not that interesting, and it's really taken about 5 or 6 episodes to even really get into the plot, so I'm sorry. So this is my apology. I'm going to recommend this anime to you instead, and I promise it does pay off and it has some goodies to boot. Based on the light novel from 2017, Beheneko really is a reincarnation anime. So not really an isekai, a knight is reincarnated as a cat. I wanted to introduce our drink for the evening, which is the Bacardi Bahama Mama, which I believe have done the rum punch, but this is the Bahama Mama in honor of all the muscle mamas that are in this anime. So kanpai, we're gonna pop this open. I love these. These are carbonated. Now there is one from Malibu that is a still cocktail. I don't like those as much. I'll feature them coming up here pretty soon. These are delightful because they're sparkling, and I am essentially a child when it comes to drinks, so I love what's basically adult soda. So kanpai. That is so refreshing. That is just an excellent version of the Bahama Mama. So pick those up. I found them at the Fry's locally, so check it out. It's part of a multi-pack that has the Bahama Mama, the rum punch, and a pina colada. They're all good. Bahama Mama's the best one here. So once our knight is reincarnated, he finds himself in the body of a kitty cat, and once he checks his user menu, he can see that he is a monster. Not just a monster, but an S-ranked behemoth. But in his current level 1 Pokemon form, he just looks like a normal cat. So he starts fighting his way through the dungeon, and every time he defeats something, if he eats it, he actually absorbs the power, which is a little creepy, but hey. So he just starts knocking out everything and collecting the powers, and he's collecting all these different skills and leveling himself up. But eventually he finds himself in a fight that he can't win, and he gets quite damaged and quite hurt during this, and barely even makes it out of the encounter. And he basically finds himself just kind of passed out in the dungeon, and a solo elf named Aria finds him, nurses him back to health, and names him. Now that thus begins a whole wild adventure of adding new characters. There are so many wild characters in this show. There is a reference to Arnold Schwarzenegger, some like super buff guy wearing like leather outfits, and like he's like the quest master, like the guild master. There is a super buff blacksmith girl. Her name is Vulcan, and she's got a big hammer like Harley Quinn, but because she's a blacksmith, like that's part of her deal. She's got mad side boob, and she's like a cat girl too, so it's like it wins on all fronts. Now I thought this is gonna be my best girl. I already can see it, but In episode 4, this totally chaotic dragon lady called Stella, she enters the picture. She's got some really like Chainsaw Man power energy, and she's incredibly tough, like just muscles and everything. She's so cool. I don't know, she's my favorite character in the running for best girl for sure. This show's a lot of fun. What I really like about it is that all of the characters use their special moves in a way that makes sense. So there's like strategy when they fight. If you play RPGs, it's very much playing into that whole RPG vibe. Now, the whole like selecting your moves from menus and stuff like that, I gotta be honest, I'm really tired of that kind of trope or mechanic at this point. But it does tell you what they're doing, and it makes sense. And to be fair, it's only the main character that seems to do that, like accessing like the menu options and stuff. So you don't really get a feeling that the other characters can do that or do that. So maybe that's a little bit less weird, but it is that's usually kind of an isekai flavor that they put into things. But it doesn't bump me from anything. It's just, I'm getting a little tired of that mechanic. I wish there was a better way to do that, but you know, people do what sells. I love that all of the warrior women that are introduced in this series so far, you can buy that they're actually warriors. And what I mean is that they are really focusing on showing that they have toned bodies, like their arms have muscles, and you can see the tone in their muscles, in their stomach muscles, and so you can believe that they're actually warriors. They're not just essentially stick figures with two balloons drawn on the front of them. It really makes more sense, and I really like that they're doing a lot more of this now, and I feel like it started a little bit with the My Hero Academia characters, and maybe it's kind of grown from there. It really works because otherwise you can't really buy it that they're you know, wielding huge swords and stuff like that. So I like that they've done it, and they've done it in a cool way, and I'm all about variety. So, you know, when people see these characters, I like them to be as different as possible, but you know, it makes it more interesting. I don't want 5 different characters on the screen. The only way you can differentiate them is that they have different hair colors. I'm a simple man. I want to see lots of different things, different skin tones. You know, they got cat ears, they got tails, they got, you know, muscles, whatever. I want to see a little of everything, and I think that makes it more palatable for more people as well. So I really like this show. It is an ecchi comedy harem, which is really just in my wheelhouse. So if you liked That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, you liked Interspecies Reviewers, you liked Inukai-san's Dog, you know, if you like that one. Now, I will say, what made my life as Inukai-san's Dog really uncomfortable was the fact that he was a dog, but she was a human. And what makes it a little less weird here is that the main character is a cat, and the other characters are not humans for the most part. There's not, and I don't think there's any humans that are part of this kind of harem, so to speak. These girls take Crazy Cat Lady to a problematic level. This is just one of those shows that just ticked all the right boxes for me personally, so your mileage may vary, but if you're a fan of this channel, you're probably gonna like it, I'll be honest. So now I did look around to see where you can find it, and I find my anime in different places than you will likely go. Outside of firing up the VPN and sailing the high seas, I believe High Dive is the only service that has it at this point. And there is an edited and unedited version, and even the unedited version still seems to have some like additional editing that maybe they added into it. I don't know if there's going to be a super unedited version later, but if so, we should definitely check it out together. Thank you and welcome to all the new subscribers. We're going to be pushing to 300 pretty soon. That's my goal by the end of the year. And I also wanted to let you know, give you a little preview, there's going to be another party for Phoenix Fan Fusion that I'm going to be announcing here soon. In fact, you might see more than one of those parties. So I'll leave it at that. Until next time, my name is Scott. Kanpai.